Welcome back. And joining us now from Canberra is the Australian Christian Lobby's Managing Director, Lyle Shelton. How are you, Lyle?
I'm really well, thanks, Kent. Good to be with you again.
Yeah, good to have you. Now, Lyle, we've reported on In Focus News previously about two senior federal politicians, Philip Ruddock and Chris Hayes, who say Australia should provide a temporary safe haven for people escaping violence and persecution in the Middle East. But it sounds like they're not the only voices calling for this solution now.
No, that's right, Kent. They've been calling for this since about March of this year. ACL and 20,000 of our supporters have been saying we should dramatically increase the refugee intake so that we can provide some assistance and help for people fleeing violent religious persecution in Iraq and Syria in particular. And of course, many of these people are Christians. So it's great to see these two men from both sides of the political fence calling for it. But there really does need to be some action taken from the government, as this call is now a few months old and the situation there is desperate.
OK, now you actually spoke to these gentlemen just recently. Let's just have a quick look at some of the comments made by Mr Ruddock and Mr Hayes.
Yeah, I think that this is a time not pulling down the shutters and think this is Fortress of Australia. Australia has a very clear role to play in world affairs.
I think a Kosovo-type solution in which you give people safe haven visas, which we believe should be appropriate until it's safe for them to be able to return home, is a way forward.
So, Lyle, what needs to happen for Australia and other countries, I guess, to offer a safe haven to these hundreds of thousands or even millions of refugees?
Well, we need the global community to take responsibility for this crisis. As we've heard, it's the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II, and really not enough is being done to help these people. Now, a country like Australia can't do everything, but we can do something, and our humanitarian intake is very low at 13,700. Even if we could just take several thousand on a temporary basis, that would be of great assistance. What would be better is if we doubled our humanitarian intake with a focus on those who are the most heavily persecuted. At the moment, our response is very lacklustre. The situation is at crisis point, and we vowed that this would never happen again after World War II, when Jewish people were persecuted for their religion. Here we have entire cities and regions of people being driven out and killed because of their religion, and we're not doing enough in response. So we must act, and we must act quickly.
Yeah. OK, well, thanks so much for your time this week, Lyle.
Thanks a lot, Kent.